Alright, so what's up, guys? Been a long day in the saddle for me, not in the motorcycle saddle, in the car seat. So I wanted to show this off to you. I just picked it up. It's a 1970 Beetle, not the Super Beetle, regular 1970 Beetle. And I just got back. I had to go about 100 miles to get it, and I was able to drive it home the whole way. And it wasn't interstate on the way home, but it was two-lane highway, 55 to 60 miles an hour the whole way. Made it just fine. And wanted to show it off. I've always wanted one of these. I've always thought Beetles were super neat. For me, it wasn't watching Herbie or something like that as much as it was probably, probably Transformers, the original cartoon, not the new movies. Back in the cartoon, Transformers, Bumblebee was originally a Beetle. Yellow, of course, but I think that might have been where my first fascination with Beetles probably came from. So the story on this car is it was built in 2015 is when the guy got it and started working on it. Him and a friend started working on it together. They was both retired, and the friend had always worked in the automotive industry, just working on old classic cars and restoring them, but just all makes and models. And don't have great lighting in here. I'm in the garage. But anyway, they tore it down to the very base, and it had a good frame, good seat pans and everything. So they started at the back end on the engine, and they tore it all the way down to the block and sent it off and had it a line board, and then built it back up and got that installed in. And as you can see, the engine bay, the entire area is super clean. It's got all the panels, and if you know anything about bugs, all of these like fabric rubber panels in the back and around, and along with the trim piece down here, it all has to be there, or else the engine is not going to get the airflow it needs to cool properly. So all that's there, and it's super clean. So anyway, they built the engine, got it installed, and it's only had about 600 miles put on it since that happened. And once they got the engine working and everything like they liked it, they moved forward, rebuilt, or actually put a different transaxle in it. The guy already had access to one that had been rebuilt and was known to be a good unit. They put that in there, new brake all the way around. Didn't upgrade to calipers and rotors. It's still drum brake all four corners, but new pads and service the brake system. And then from there, new fuel tank and fuel pump, along with fuel gauge, float system in the tank, all that stuff, and got that done. And then they moved on to the interior, and this is where the story gets a little sad. So they got the interior pretty much finished. All the seats are recovered. It's got nice carpet. It's got some rubber mats in here. The dash is in good shape. It's not super cracked or anything. Took care of any electrical that was up in here around the dash. All the lights work. All the dummy lights, your blinker, dummy light telling you your blinkers are on. The generator light works. Everything, high beam light works. And of course, all the lights on the outside work. And they got all that buttoned up. And the last thing they did is the guy that was helping, the guy I bought it from, his friend, drove up to his house and got it on a Saturday and drove it back to his shop to finish putting door panels, getting door panels put in it. Got those buttoned up in his shop and drove it back to the owner's house. Parked it, gave him the keys, said, "Hey man, I'll holler at you tomorrow or next week or whatever," and got back into his truck. And as he was driving home, had a heart attack, and vehicle left the road and he died. And so when that happened, the original owner of this, or I say original, the guy I bought it from, this was something that him and his buddy worked on in their retirement years, and he was not a Volkswagen guy himself. And he was requiring his buddy's assistance to try to get this thing restored. And he lost interest in it after that. And that was, they started on it in 2015 and had worked on it all the way up till 2021. And so that happened in the summer of 2021 around, he said he remembers it was right around Veterans Day, I think. And so he lost interest in it after that. He's kept it and would drive it occasionally down the road to the cafe and eat breakfast or something on a Saturday or Sunday morning, but had no interest in continuing to work on it. He's got a few small knick-knack parts like replacement window crank handles. These are in good shape, but he does have another pair of them. And then this little plastic knob here on the air vent window is cracked. He's got a couple of those in a box, and the biggest spare thing he's got is some rear shocks. It's still got factory ones on it as far as he was aware, and anyone who knows these Beetles knows that when you don't have anybody in the car, normally the wheels are cambered out a little bit, and then when you put a couple people in there, then the wheels set vertical. And right now they're kind of cambered in because the suspension hasn't been replaced. But I've got those components brand new in the box, haven't even been opened. And yeah, so I'm gonna tinker with it a little while, and I might have some content for you revolving around this thing, whatever I have to do to it. On my way home, the running headlight filament burn out. So right now I know I'm gonna have to replace a headlight, and they're as cheap as they are. I'll probably replace both of them, so at least the glass matches and looks new in the front. But yeah, my low beam has burned out here, which is also causing the running light here not to shine. But when you flip the blinker, it works, and then it's causing the running light in the back to not shine. But you hit your brakes and it works, and then you flip your blinker on and it works. So I'm hoping that replacing that headlight will complete that circuit for the running lights, and those will all start working again. They was working when I left his house. And like I said, I had to drive it 100 miles home, problem free. Like I said, he's probably only put about 500 or 600 miles on it since the engine was completed. And yeah, I'm real happy to get it. I've always wanted one of these. The body's the biggest thing. They never got around to doing anything to the body. And it looks a little faded right now, but it's got a good layer of dust on it from just sitting in his garage. And like I said, he would just fire it up every few weeks and take it a couple miles down the road and back. So a good cleaning and maybe a little polishing, and this paint will come out decent. It does have one ding on it on the fender here that doesn't look pretty. But there's no rust through there. But that's the biggest downfall of this car cosmetically, is just the body overall having a couple nicks and dings, and then the paint, like I said, hopefully a good polish and buff will bring it out a little bit. Of the inside of the doors, however, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but the paint in here is still nice, a little darker red and shiny. And then the paint right on the other sides, I don't want to call it faded, but it's definitely, it's noticeable to the naked eye. I don't know if it comes through on camera. So anyway, first time bug owner here. I'd never even sat in one or driven one until I started looking and found this thing. So real excited. If there's anybody that, subscribers or anything that knows anything about these, I'll admit I know very little. Just the research I've done in the last couple of weeks while I've been looking for one. So yeah, comment if you've, I'm sure all my older subscribers have probably at least definitely rode in one, if not owned one and driven one. But very excited to get it. Like I said, as I go through and fix some things on it and kind of try to fine tune it and, and polish it up best I can, I may have a few videos to put out on it with things I do. But yeah, that's it. I'm not going to ramble on any longer. Very excited about it. So let me know in the comments what you think about it, if you've ever owned one. Like I said, this is a 70 model, and it's when they built it, they just went back, but they didn't bore the engine out or anything crazy like that. So 1600 cc. Yeah, that's about all I got on it. Super excited to have it. Had to drive it a long way home, no hiccups. Very excited about that. and I'm glad she's parked in my garage now. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Catch y'all next time.